completely unattached from yesterday and completely unattached from the future. What do you have today? What can you do today to be a good person? And that to me is the focus. Now introduce Constellation Farms. Constellation Farms is about a community of people that actually care and love about each other, care and love each other. And that is really the crux of it. It's just being in an environment where people are caring and loving with each other. And actually that's it.
Knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out, Rick. Knock him out the box.
Okay.
We're rolling, right? We're rolling. So here's how I look at it, by the way. Sorry to interrupt, but you guys can keep going because I think it's important. Like, let's talk about whatever we want. And it's just a conversation. And we don't even have to talk about anything. Like, we don't have an agenda. Like, oh, we have to cover these 3 points. Although you may have as many talking points you want. And I do have a story in my head that I have kind of envisioned, I guess, just that'll come out. I don't even know it, honestly, consciously. I just know from experience, just sitting with you guys for a couple of, I love how we spent time together before. Usually we just jump right in, which I really like because I don't know the background of my guests other than a little bit. And then it's just, who are you? Tell me who you are, you know, but I kind of like that I got to talk to you and meet Ken because I haven't met Ken. And I like now you guys, I don't know. I feel like we're all much more comfortable too because we spent time together. We got in the pool. We ate. We broke bread. I mean, it's been kind of cool. And barbecue. And Ken is more, I think, I don't know. Are you the extrovert? I think you are actually.
Probably a little bit. Yeah, I'm probably more of the extrovert. Yeah.
You're not neither one is, you're pretty balanced. Like you're both like, you're like 60-40 extrovert. You're 40-60 extrovert or something like that. But you're both like very outgoing. And so anyway.
Yeah. I'm probably more social.
Yeah, for sure. And you're going to have to be because you're going to have to tell your story and tell it and have fun with it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want it to get stale and groundhoggy day. So I feel like the story's going to evolve. You're going to be constantly doing things. You're building structures. Oh my God, we just added an acreage. We have a new project we're working on. Like, it shouldn't get stale. And if it does, talk about how stale it is. Keep it real. Like, don't let it become something you hate. Because that's not going to be good.
This is all about, this is a project of passion.
Yeah.
And it's all about following passion.
Yes.
I think that's how it started for both of us. And as I encounter new people that want to be a part of what we're doing, I always ask them, what is your passion? What is it that you love doing? How would you not only like to be a part of what we're doing, but what do you dream about? You know, what is it that's uniquely want to do on this planet? And I feel like that's what's driving me. This is a lifelong dream I've had for 35 years. And it's finally happening.
Yeah. So this is the whole crux of the show, is like helping people find their passion. Because so many people aren't doing something they enjoy. And I think I really believed that I was destined to that kind of life too. So I understand how it could seem that way. And it's not easy to find something to be passionate about for most of us.
Yeah. And trust it.
Yeah.
Trust it
and have the confidence to do it.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen for everyone, but it could to anyone, I want to say. And that's the whole point of this show, right? Is that message.
Right.
So like, but the key is, how do you find it? Like, how did you figure it out?
Inside. It's inside.
But did you like, how did you look inside? Did you close your eyes? Like, what were the steps?
This particular goal of mine, it manifested when I was in grad school. It was about 86, about 1986.
What a great
I was in
year.
grad school. I remember realizing how much passion I had around making artwork outside, and how I felt more connected to spirit, and I just felt more connected in a small rural environment. And I had this idea: what if I could create an artist retreat center where we had plenty of studio space and we could live, and it was a farm-like community, and we could have workshops and people could come in for just a weekend or a week or a month or years or live there.
But why did you want that? Were you seeing something missing in your life, or what was it that even did you just sit one day and have a premonition?
I loved being able to make art with other people. Not that I was physically making art with other people.
Right, not share the canvas, but be amongst people.
Yes, I think that having a community of creative people
sitting together
or just living
outside or
living amongst people and having a strong sense of community.
Right.
Has always
on a farm, or does it not have to be a farm? That's just what it ended up
vision
being.
It didn't have to be a farm, but I love the idea of a farm. I don't consider myself a farmer.
Okay, that's important to note, because someone
might
think, she's a farmer.
Farmers. I mean, I love being on farms. My mother would tease me because we would go to visit dairies in New Jersey, and I loved the smell of the cow manure.
Right.
As crazy as that is.
No. Okay. Hold on. I got to pause there. I got to say.
There's a familiar smell.
Yeah.
There's a familiarity there.
Right. I'm just saying, pausing here, because these are the key moments and experiences to pay attention to, instead of going, I'm just weird.
I call them channel markers.
Yeah. It's like, what if you're a farmer at heart and you were just taken to the city and born to city folk, right? And you need to, and I'm saying it because someone might hear this, and because I'm the same. I've been on a farm, but I've never worked a farm or stayed at a farm. Yeah. But I've always wanted to. Yeah. And that's why I'm kind of I want to kind of just, I don't know, maybe I'll get addicted to Constellation Farms. I don't know. Yeah. I'm ready. It's kind of scary. What if I'm like, honey, we're moving to Springville. We can do the work remote. I can do retreats every weekend. Here, I'm already at the retreat. I don't know. Yeah. No promises. I'm just saying. Cannoli would not mind, I got to tell you. So, I get it. So it's not like you're a farmer. You just thought, how do I have this? This sense. And what were the elements you needed? Yeah.
And in that setting, but I have to say that dream, I mean, I have a visual picture, but that dream kind of got put on a shelf because life happened. And
what was the picture, please? Oh, it's okay if you don't end up doing it. But just curious.
The picture is beautiful, peaceful, tranquil place. It has elements of water, a fountain, fireplaces, wood stoves, earthen structure, buildings that feel like they've been there forever, even if they're new builds. And a strong sense of community, of people where we're sharing our lives together and sharing talents and sharing challenges and even just sharing stuff. Like, everyone doesn't need a pickup truck.
Right.
But everyone needs a pickup truck every once in a while.
Right. You need a friend with a pickup truck.
Yeah, you need a friend.
Right? That should be a t-shirt. Everyone needs a friend with a pickup truck. Yeah. Or a license plate.
Or barbecue.
Or next
we don't all need
swimming pool.
Yeah.
Right.
Or a waffle iron. We don't all need waffle irons.
Right.
We don't all
Who's
need
got
barbecue.
space on the
We don't-
countertop for
you know,
a
we don't-
waffle iron? Goddamn it.
Right. But let's share. How about a
I
solar
love it.
system? You know?
Can I? Oh my God.
Yeah,
I'm seriously like afraid that what's going to happen when I go to Constellation Farms, because
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with the Smurfs. The Smurf Village.
Smurf-
It's sounding a lot like the Smurf Village.
Yeah.
Well,
Therefore, Papa Rick, like Papa Smurf was my guy. I was like, oh, this dude.
yeah.
He's just helping all the Smurfs figure out their thing. And he doesn't do any one particular thing. And that's okay. And I finally reconnected with him later in life, like, oh, it's okay to not have one thing. You could just help other people do their thing, which is part of this podcast. Part of everything I do is just building teams. Man, and I've always been talking about, like, I watched that Osho documentary, right? Like, that just intrigues me. And for me personally, the non-religious umbrella, because it's now fully inclusive. You could be religious, you could be non-religious, you could be atheist, you could be believing in many gods, right?
Mm-hmm.
And come there as long as you respect everyone, and there's certain ground rules, I'm assuming,
Sure.
like
Yeah.
consensuality and, you know, respecting other people's needs and wants and desires, and giving people their space, and, you know, embracing other people, you know, including and figuring out every single person's talent. What if there's a hidden talent that you just never stumbled across yet because you've never been on a damn farm? You might be an astronomer, right? Stars are out. Maybe you go, oh shit, I want to study the stars. I never knew there were stars. I lived in LA with the smog, right?
Well, you talk about the Smurf Village.
Yeah.
When we were talking about what are we going to call this, this was just back in
Don't tell
last
me you were
fall.
going to call it the Smurf Village, because
No,
I'm going to
no,
pack
no.
my bags right now.
But we were using the village word a lot. We, you know, as we talked about what is this place
Village.
feel like, what word describes it? The word community and village always came up, because village is evokes a sense of a lot of different people coming together and building a community,
Village.
working together. Yeah.
Dude, that's because it's not really about the Smurfs,
No.
really, right? The Smurfs was just the brand they used to create this community I love. Like,
Yeah.
you got Jokey Smurf, and they're like, yeah, go ahead, blow shit up on us. Like, it's what's your job, right? To make us laugh. And you got Grumpy Smurf, and they're like, all right, man.
Yeah.
You know, whatever Grumpy did. I don't know what Grumpy did, but anyway, the point is, like, it was the concept of a village.
Right.
Of
And-
all the Smurfs working together, you know, and facing big challenges together. It's that's the story. I didn't understand that was the story I loved. And I always wanted a big family. I always felt like I wanted a younger sibling, and I never had one. And that's what it is. It's the village concept. I've always, and people searching for a home. Like, I was like, you guys realizing that that's part of this is this could be people's home.
Right.
You're creating people's homes for sure.
Yeah.
It may not be for everyone, but you will have people that found their home. That's amazing.
So
That's a
we're-
pretty good thing to do.
Yeah, what's really
think.
interesting is that for me, the dream got put on a shelf,
Yeah.
and life happened. I spent 10 years with my prior husband, and
Can you explain
And,
what happened? Just curious. I mean, just what,
Oh,
like,
just-
general. I
oh,
mean, whatever you can
generally,
share.
you know,
Struggles. Why did you lose that? Did you not? Did you believe in it still, or you just said I'll do it later, or you just said
I think
forget
I
it?
listened and believed in too many external messages of the myth of the starving artist. This
What does that mean to you?
idea-
Why is it a myth to you now?
Well, because clearly artists are not starving. There are more creatives right now working, from what I understand, than there are in the health industry in California.
Wow.
But I mean, there's more visual material, more music,
Right,
more
content
art, more content.
is king, baby.
Yeah, than
People
ever,
consume so much. You need more of it.
ever
Constant
before
new content.
in our human history. And So artists are not starving. That's a myth.
Right.
But I listened to that. I believe that, you couldn't really make a living as an artist. And so I got all sidetracked, and I ended up doing other jobs in order to support my art habit.
What did you do?
Oh boy, I managed a dental office for
So you kind of,
many
I mean,
years.
just to be clear,
I was
you
a
thought,
counselor I was a counselor at a homeless shelter. I for a good 10 years plus, I had a business where I designed and manufactured a line of gift products that I sold wholesale. But it wasn't until later in life, I was about 40, that I trusted that I could make a living as an artist. And so that just got shelved. And then about 10 years ago, going on 10 years this fall, I met Kenny. And that was a miraculous time.
When you did those jobs, real quick, before we leave that,
yeah.
did you enjoy any of them? Did you feel like, and did you think you were going to ever
I enjoyed
create the village?
Different elements of them, and I was working on my artwork, both the design work that I was doing, but also the fine art. I was doing so part-time that I wasn't really able to sink my teeth into it.
Right.
Did I enjoy those? I enjoyed elements of those other jobs, but I knew that it wasn't my highest skill set.
Yeah.
I knew it was not my highest gift. I knew it wasn't the thing that I uniquely was put on this planet to do.
And you weren't probably 100%.
I wasn't 100%
like invested.
No.
Like I wasn't when I was in corporate.
Yeah. I can say that I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I can say that I was good at a lot of those things, but you get to a certain point in your life where you say, you shouldn't be doing what you're good at. You should be doing what you are best at.
I love that.
What you
best
are
at.
like.
Yeah.
Ultimately the best.
Right.
At that no one else can do as well as you.
Right.
And that's what
even if there's other people that can do it as well as you,
Absolutely.
But it's your best, why not? Not every honeybee has to be number one.
Right.
But if that's the best job for you, that's the best way for you to feel fulfilled, contribute the most to your village, then do it. You'll feel better. Because when you're going at 40% capacity, I feel like I was half the time, maybe 50% overall, because there were times I would just go because I needed to. But you're not giving 100%, so you're feeling bad about yourself.
And what's really crazy is unless you have really experienced doing that highest gift, that highest skill, you don't know any different.
Right. You adapt.
You're just going through the motions. And this idea of fulfilling work, this fulfilling passion, is really the crux of the mission of Constellation Farms. We want to provide fulfilling work and fulfilling community, fulfilling residence for people with developmental disabilities. It's not enough to just have work.
Right.
It's about having fulfilling work. It's having a sense of purpose. And maybe you don't have high level skill, but you know what? If you feel good about the fact that you're responsible for cutting the carrots for dinner for everybody, that's fulfilling work.
Exactly.
And
what a gift!
This coffee you made is amazing. Now that's a gift.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And what a gift it is to find that best talent or contribution in a person that isn't maybe gonna do what's normally looked at as exceptional work, because like my son Ben, first of all, he's a social genius, so I would definitely go get to know everybody. Everyone's gonna love coming there if he was there, because he would remember everyone's name. Who can do that? I don't know. None of my kids give a crap about whoever's here right now. He does, and he'll remember you got a thing on your foot or your hand is hurt, and he'll remember in 3 months to ask you. He may not be able to do calculus, or I wouldn't make him the village surgeon.
But he has skills, and he has gifts.
He has skills.
He has gifts.
Or, for example, he once asked me, Daddy, can I mop for Taco Bell and McDonald's when I get a job? And I said, bro, you could probably realistically mop for every fast food chain in the area, and you'd probably be employee of the month at every single one of them because nobody wants to mop the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like doing that, what a gift to the rest of the village.
Yeah.
Right? And we could overlook that and go, hey, just go like listen to music. Just go sit over there. Just, hey, you know what? You don't know. Hey, let me do that.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah.
You know, or gardening. I mean, there's endless skills that people have. And I've learned it through Ben, you know. Not everybody has had that experience. So maybe we can help people understand that. Kids are being included in classes now that have special needs, not because of the special needs kids, because of the benefit to the typical children who learn how to be empathetic and find value in everyone, regardless of their differences.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So
you're pushing a button. You're pushing a button though for me.
It's time.
It is.
It's what's
time.
Maybe it's the missing puzzle piece in the world that we haven't. There are these gifts brought to us. We could treat them as not gifts, or we can go, oh shit, who can be more positive? Like most of the people I know that have Down syndrome, I'm not trying to, stereotype all of them, but there are some mostly highly positive people.
Very
you cannot
lovely.
teach that.
Mm-hmm.
Put them in the community. Hello.
So these folks that you're talking about, that folks like Ben, like Mary, who have Down syndrome or autism or whatever ism and title you want to give them, that have been mainstreamed into schools, and what happens during that time is they have this community, right? What happens when they age out? What happens when they graduate and leave high school? Guess what? They lose their community.
Right.
Other folks, other students are going on to create other rich communities, either in the job market or in college or whatever, the military, whatever, wherever they're going. Folks like Ben and Mary, however, age out and they lose their community. And the programs that are out there, the day programs, many of them are like, they're like daycare. They're like pretend little programs. They're not fulfilling. They're just not fulfilling. Many of them. There are some out there.
Sure.
But many of them that we've experienced are not fulfilling.
Right. There's definitely a huge need.
The huge need. And they're not gearing to what is it that Ben is passionate about? What is it that Mary is passionate about? And building a life for them around.
They're coming at it from a different angle,
yes,
from where can we put them versus how do we put them, how do we utilize them in the community?
They're also, how can we
implement
make money
them? Right.
at, and that just disgusts me.
Right.
That's another conversation.
Right.
The other piece of this is that it puts a huge burden on parents.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about parents that are, retirement age, are going to be burdened with taking care of their adult children forever, or put them into the system, and now they're vulnerable to the system.
Right.
So there are very few programs and communities out there, and that's a need we want to fill.
That's the primary goal.
Yeah.
The heart of it.
But back to that passion question.
Yeah.
I mean, my dream was kind of on a shelf when I met my husband, Kenny, about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And we realized that we wanted to be together forever. And so we said, let's compare bucket lists. And I, of course, had mine all typed out, ready, all.
You had a typed out bucket list.
Oh yes, on
like
Excel.
Literally. Okay,
Oh,
on Excel.
Yeah.
Right. You want to be able to sort and like
Oh, well,
add notes.
It was.
No, that's great.
I mean,
you
it
need
was,
a vision.
Yeah.
If you write it down, I mean, this is probably known by most, but I'm just going to say it.
You write it down,
I
it
learned it,
happens.
man. Speak it into existence, write it into existence, draw it into existence. Like,
Mhm.
and the
Yeah.
more profound you can think about it, like
Right.
even if you just meditate
Smell
and just
it,
imagine
feel
it, yeah.
Yeah, the whole fish.
It's like tricks your brain into into having intention about it. That's
Yeah.
really the key. So then you
That's-
go, oh, I just met someone that talked about, they set up nonprofits. Oh, and then you have this idea that's been burned into your head.
Yeah.
You're gonna
Thoughts
talk
in
about it
mind,
and start
producing
connecting
kind.
the dots, connecting the stars,
Yeah.
creating a constellation. You like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Just thought
Thoughts
of that
in
right
mind,
now.
producing kind.
Yes.
That's what they say.
Constellation.
So, we compared bucket lists.
Yeah.
And I had not talked to Kenny about this dream of mine.
So you guys are together at this point.
We're together
For how long? Like this is already deep into
what?
the relationship?
a couple weeks, maybe
A
a
couple
month.
weeks.
Deep.
Well,
Which
I would
is
say
deep for a
we
true
knew
connection.
We knew we wanted to be together.
Right. It wasn't because of this idea.
Oh,
you
no,
guys
no,
were
no,
already
no,
like,
no.
oh my
No,
God,
no,
I
no.
love
We were
you. You're
already
the man of my
together.
dreams. Yeah.
We had already committed ourselves. He hadn't gotten on his knee yet to propose.
Yeah,
yet,
but you knew.
but we knew.
Yeah.
We already knew.
I understand.
And
How old were you guys at the time?
I was 46. You were 50. Okay.
I'm just
And-
asking because you just know
okay.
yourself so much better as you get older. So
yeah.
when I met my wife, it was like,
Yeah.
when we connected, it was like
No.
you just knew.
You're not wasting your time
Right.
anymore.
Right.
You've
You've
been
already made
looking-
the mistake. You've already learned about yourself, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's,
Yeah.
I get that even 2 weeks in, you could be like, where are we building the house?
Right. And so we did not really share the details of our bucket list. We wrote them down. He wrote his down, and we compared notes. We compared them, and it was amazing how much we had in common. We both wanted to go solar. We both wanted to build a cabin. We both wanted, to have a garden. We both, what? We both want to have a farm retreat, a ranch. What? Wait, what? What's this? And it was pretty
Wow.
amazing.
How did
And
you guys
his
find out? You
picture-
just were talking?
Yeah, well, we literally
Yeah.
were going.
Oh,
down
you
our
got,
bucket
you
list.
had did he have a written one or no?
Yeah, well, he did. He ended up putting his on paper.
On Excel?
Yeah.
Yes, with the timeline.
Timestamps.
Yeah.
Wow.
His looked a little different. I'll let him tell you how his was.
Yeah. Well,
But what was
okay.
fascinating
Yeah.
about it was that he had developed a very similar vision and dream around the same time, about 1986.
Wow.
Yeah. Of course, we had not met.
Right.
This was 20 years prior to us meeting. So that was
Sometimes like these are the things where it happens so often where you wonder, like, is this a movie? Is this
they're in the
pre-written?
stars.
It's in the stars. Is it
Yeah.
a pool? Is there something else going on? Is there a
Yeah.
program? Is it a simulation? Who knows? It makes you wonder.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, so did you know right away? Holy crap! Did fireworks go off and you're like, we're making this village together? Did you know right away what it was going to be? Like, what was the process from there? Yeah,
Well,
Kenny's saying yeah.
we pretty
He's a
much
man of few words.
started.
No, I
He's waiting his turn.
I know, I'm kidding.
it's her.
But we should
I'm
bring
being
him
as
in.
quiet
Well,
as
maybe
I can.
now is the time that Kenny comes into the conversation.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think the listeners are probably anxious to hear who this Kenny. I want to know how you guys met too. I want to hear that story, but
I'm nothing but a rock star. Anyway,
Kenny, take over, man.
yeah.
Be
Everyone
you. Do you rock it out? Do you sing?
A
Play
little
guitar?
bit, yeah.
Let's sing something, man. What do you like?
You Too, In the Name of Love. I particularly like that.
In the name of love.
One.
One. In the name of love.
Yeah, I do an acoustical version of that.
Really?
I'm
You
kinda-
got your guitar?
Got like no, but I got like 10 songs that someone says, "Hey, play something." That's all I got.
Oh man, 10 songs. That's enough, man.
Probably not
One
that
album
popular.
worth. You got to bring your guitar next time, Kenny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pull the mic up closer.
Okay.
Yeah, because we want to hear your voice. Excellent. Feel free to move around.
So one of the things about Constellation Farms that became very apparent to me is, unlike a lot of things that I've done in my life, it's not about a solo effort. It's you need help. And for instance, if Heidi was to something was to happen and she was to come out of the picture somehow, I would really be scrambling because I think we do balance each other. Like an example, her doing the program, me doing the more kind of engineering stuff. So without that, I had when Mary was first born.
What year was that?
It was 1984, and in 1984, we had no idea that she had any challenges, anything, just a normal child. But when she was first born, the doctor, who was wearing cowboy boots, I'm sure he had a cowboy hat outside, of course, in all of his stuff. But
where was this? Texas?
No, that was here.
Here.
It was in Bakersfield.
Oh, Bakersfield. Got it.
At, one of the hospitals.
So Texas.
But well, they say that one of the things they say in Bakersfield is there's a little town nearby called Taft, and to people in Bakersfield, it's an acronym which means this ain't fucking Texas. So, so it's pretty common, but that's okay. Of course, it's the butt end of so many jokes and late night. It's crazy. But so when she was first born, they got Mary out, and the doctor looked at her, just paused for a second, and then she lifted Mary up to the sky and said, "Baby," and it's like, wow, he's just so like there. He's such the perfect person for delivering babies. And so about a half hour later, two things happen very quickly. They do these tests to different things to determine the health of the baby, this sort of thing. And she had scored, essentially, she has Down syndrome. And so without any forethought, any knowledge, anything about any of this, these two people came in from the county, and they said immediately, she has Down syndrome. And then they said, "Do you want us to take the baby?" And I'm like, two things are blowing me away here, right? My first child here has Down syndrome, which I'm like, I have no idea. So I'm a bit like, what's this all about? And they want to take my baby away right there on the spot. And the reason for it, I find out, because they didn't tell me, is that a lot of people who have disabled kids at the whole spectrum of disabilities, the kids leave the hospital and are never seen again. This I guess was fairly common enough for them to just flatly ask me,
Right.
because there are people that would love to have Mary for a baby, but that was kind of a shock for me. But over the next couple of years, I learned some things, and that I was very happy, very joyful to have her in my life.
Yeah.
But I also started to think about, even then, it's like, well, what is she going to do for the rest of her life? And especially, what is she going to do when I'm gone?
Right.
Where is she going to be
Right.
in her life? And so this idea in the late 80s, I got with a friend and we started talking about creating this farm, creating an area, a place where people could live long term. So that's kind of, I guess, it never really left. But I too was in the corporate world, and I too was working for the money, and I enjoyed my work, but there was always this thing of I need to do something else. I need to do something that maybe make things better for those around me. There's a point in time in life, where it's like you keep working on yourself, and there comes a point in time where the work on yourself is kind of done. You're kind of done working on yourself,
Right.
and it's time to now start being of service. And for
Wow,
me,
man.
that probably when I was 38 or so, that I started to realize that enough. I'm not starving. I have a place to stay. I have my basic needs met, and I felt pretty comfortable with myself. Not to say that I stopped growing at all, but
Right.
there was a point. There's
A
a bit of
tipping point.
an epiphany
Right.
of sorts that when are you going to stop? Down the health path. I want to live forever. I've got to be number one. I got to do all these things according to experience and life,
Right.
people around me, right? But eventually, it's like I'm kind of done with that. So I say
Life is fleeting.
Once you can fix yourself, then I think you're in a position to
Right.
reach out and help other people. But the other people that you're helping, they probably are in that situation and needing to be fixed. I mean, fixed in the sense that they've got some problems.
Right.
Probably the biggest problem is lack of love, lack of people that actually give a shit
Right.
about them in their lives. So when you provide that to people, it just brightens up everything.
Exactly.
And I started to see that. But one thing led to another, and
Can I just say that your story just gave me a little bit of maybe an epiphany that us meeting wasn't also that much of a coincidence, or might not be. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We can make it what we want it to be, right?
Yeah.
It's in our hands.
Yeah.
But it was definitely different in the 80s. And maybe in 2003, a little bit, because it's a different time. People are definitely like more aware. So I don't think that happens anymore. But when Ben was born, my grandfather, who I love, no judgment on him. Hey, we can leave him at the synagogue stairs. It's okay. You're young.
Mhm.
It's your first.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I was like, no, I thank you. We want him. He's like, you do. You didn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a different time.
Yeah.
But the times haven't caught up yet. So
Yeah.
you guys are doing that because there really isn't anything for them to have quality of life. What's great is Ben was born into a era that had, preventative, services, right? Like rehabilitation services, speech therapy,
Mhm.
things to help them, bringing them into the community at school, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
So he got to have that. And I could see like it enriched his life compared to how it used to be. But now it's like, what is he going to do? He's 18.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's a senior this year. We already held him back. And he's like, I want to go to college because what am I going to do after next year?
Well, there are some
Yeah.
colleges out there that there's one in Taft.
Right.
This ain't fucking Texas,
Right.
but Taft,
And Ben
California.
would kill it there, by the way.
See,
But yeah, there isn't much. So
One at
mission-
what an
UC
amazing.
Davis I was
straightforward.
just
Yeah.
reading about.
there's
amazing.
so many. There's
But
so
it-
many.
And Ben might be fine being my business partner. I've
Yeah.
offered it to him. Like, you just get your shit together, buddy.
Yeah,
Stop saying Andy in my ear,
Yeah.
100 times a day.
yeah,
And I'll take you with me to meetings. Maybe.
Yeah.
But I, the point is, it's not about Ben. It's about there's a whole community out there that has something to give.
yeah.
And it's not about putting them somewhere.
No, it's
And
about
this is like an
Ben and
opportunity
Mary
for-
having a community.
Yeah, to have a
being
community and really feel a
valuable
part of it,
member
of
the community.
valued member,
having,
right?
having a fulfilling sense of purpose, a real sense of purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, when Mary and I are together, in the studio even, she's able to do things that I can't do. Am I always mindful of that? No, unfortunately I'm not. I get in my busyness of checking off all the things I
Right.
need to do. And yet when I'm more mindful and I step back and I take the time to think more about her, I can create a beautiful day where she's actually of great service to, my art practice
Right.
or our family, what we're doing, and
Right.
and from a sense of,
Yeah.
work, fulfilling
Yeah.
work.
Well,
She loves to, all sorts of things she's passionate about.
I would say that the number one thing that people that have some form of disability or challenge in their life that they're missing is simply other people. It's a very lonely life. If you're in a wheelchair,
Right.
let's say you just got in a car accident or something, you're going to find it to be very lonely.
Right.
There's not a lot of people out
Doesn't
there
have to
that,
be.
I mean, again, you may have family and friends, but
Because you still have something to offer, but people assume you don't because you're a burden.
Suddenly
it's
the
very
world-
lonely.
I've seen
the
it.
whole world is geared towards able
Right.
people.
And
Well,
what
they're-
can you
I
do
think
for
they're-
me?
I
It's a
think
lot of
they're-
what can you do for
I think
me,
what they're
but they don't realize there is a lot they can do if you take the time, but it requires a different eye.
Yeah, I mean, I think
A different setup.
everyone seems to be in the sameness mode. I want to be the same as this person. You walk into a grocery store with somebody who's disabled or looks different. Maybe they're dressed different. Maybe they're homeless. You're going in there to buy in some food, but they're with you. You want to go into the alone mode because that's what you're going to be. You're going to be in that store alone. Nobody is like reaching
Embracing
out to other
you.
people because they're different. And this whole idea of conformity, it'll get you by for a while, but at some point it's like who you are as the self, it will come out. And then you're going to be left with, who am I and all these things that come up. But that pull to conformity is so strong, and especially in this culture. You're violently opposed in this culture that we live in to be a nonconformist. And to be a nonconformist is a tough road because you're going to be alone. You're not going to have 15 people around you all agreeing with you. Matter of fact, those 15 people are probably all going to disagree with you. And 25% of them are probably going to go outside thinking ways they could kill you. It's so violent. It's so that draw to conformity is so violent. I mean, this whole mask thing is a great example. You got all these people wearing masks. Okay, I get that. Okay, but just if you want to be a nonconformist, take that mask off for a bit and find out what, people start playing with themselves and doing all this weird shit. It's like, okay, that's okay, but there's I'm not even there. And especially not from a respectful. It's like you're blah, blah, blah. You just disappear. You become a nonconformist can become alone instantly. All they have to do is disagree with the norm. Disagree. It's like somebody says, "Oh, you're this way," and you say, "No, I'm not that way," and all of a sudden you're alone.
Right.
And that's what happens with people like Mary that have Down syndrome. they live a very alone life. Now introduce Constellation Farms. Constellation Farms is about a community of people that actually care and love each other. And that is really the crux of it. It's just being in an environment where people are caring and loving with each other. And actually that's it. There's not, there's not per se, even tomorrow, even yesterday. It's like today, how can I be good? How can you guys be good to one another? Working through conflicts, not saying, oh, you did something wrong, so I'm just going to blow you off and hate you forever. It's like, talk about it, show some care.
Right.
That's this environment that we're really wanting to build in Constellation Farms, is for people of all walks of life, not even necessarily the people who work there, the people who come and visit, the people at the workshops, the people that live there. They're all in this mode of actually caring about, it's important that they're there today. And I'm hoping that people will also realize that they need to unattach from that norm at some point. They do anyway, but completely unattached from yesterday and completely unattached from the future. What do you have today? What can you do today to be a good person? And that to me is the focus, is the importance.
Right.
Having a working farm, having a place, to do jobs,
Right.
and this having a sense of purpose, but you got to have that core, or you're going to run into a lot of problems. Every little thing that comes along is going to be whining and complaining, blah, blah, blah. Why is this? Why is that? Why is it this way with me? It's
Right.
It just goes on and on.
Yeah, because a lot of it is, how you set your expectations and how you look at things.
Right.
So I think, is that going to be, I'm assuming part of being part of Constellation Farms is also learning how to, live this life in an effective way. How to maybe think about things in a more effective way.
There's so many people that
like emotional
actually
intelligence
don't even know how to
basically.
feel love.
Right.
They can't even accept
How to feel
being
good about
loved.
yourself, value yourself.
So what's really the criteria for becoming a member of Constellation Farm? The criteria is pretty simple. Be loving and caring. Just come with the idea that I don't hate you. I'm not against you.
Right.
I want in my heart to try to do what I can.
Right. How can we connect?
Yeah. How can somehow I make your life better for you?
Right.
And the fact of the matter is that probably 95% of the people, you don't get to come in, because we don't really have. We can't unlearn a life of experience. We can't change everything. But if you come in with that kind of open heart and with loving and caring, then we have at least something to work with.
Right.
Because we really don't want it to be easy per se, for people. We're not creating the Taj Mahal here. It's a working farm, with people coming and going, doing workshops and all these different things. So yeah.
So can you guys maybe paint the vision a little bit of what even though you don't know necessarily how it's going to play out for sure, because you're evolving with it,
Right.
I assume, we talked.
Yeah.
But I do want to point out, which I think is exciting, that people that become part of the movement or the operations of this farm also can, if they want, can be taught to create their own farm somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll give them the blueprint, how to raise money, how to set it up, legal, accounting, QuickBooks.
Mm-hmm. The whole thing.
That's what's kind of cool, is
which
that
we're learning as we go.
As you go. And whoever
so
joins you now can learn with you. I think that's exciting.
Yeah. So
you need structure right now. You need some Smurfs, honestly.
Yeah.
You need like 10 good Smurfs.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the 10, I've seen the pattern in this simulation, this game, this life, whatever this is, of like really successful people having approximately 10 really good people around them.
Yeah.
Like a good lawyer,
a
good accountant that is not going to steal from you, and it's going to set up your
Sure.
entity. Like we were talking, the idea is amazing. Unfortunately, in this game, you got to know Monopoly, you got to know banking, you got to know politics, you got to know regulations, you got to know
and we have a lot of skills
HR
between us, but we definitely don't have
That's
everything that we need. So
one of
Yeah.
the
we
biggest things
are-
I realized was I don't know everything, and I never will, and figure out what I'm good at
Right.
and find the Smurfs that like are
good.
amazing at
absolutely,
everything else. The
absolutely.
plumbing, like you want somebody eventually that's like, for example, if my plumber went to Constellation Farms, you could check that off your box because he'd be, oh, you know what? I was thinking about it last night. We're gonna run the pipes like this, and it's gonna
Okay.
use the gravitational pull. And I'm like, okay, whatever, just do it.
Yeah.
But it's that passion for what they're doing,
Yep.
Right.
plus your movement. They also have to like you, because if they don't like you, they're gonna put you on the back burner.
Right.
So it's all
Right.
those things.
Or they're
Yeah.
just doing it for the money.
Yes, you don't want that.
Right.
So this, I love this whole thing, and
Yeah.
you were
I mean,
asking how I want to be a part of it earlier. I honestly haven't sat down to go, or I haven't made a bucket list or
oh
anything.
yeah, yeah.
But I keep talking about you guys. We kept in touch, which requires two people, because I was somehow touched by it. Obviously, I have a very personal connection because of
Sure.
Ben.
Sure.
So that was
Yeah,
probably the biggest
Yeah.
connection, but it was definitely beyond that, because it's not like I'm in the community. I know people with special needs kids,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but it's the movement on top of the Ben, how he could be a part of this. I could see him, like, I would love for him to have a tribe like this, a village
Yeah.
like this to go to
Yeah.
whenever he wants, or live there, dude. I'll come visit you.
Yeah. Well, the biggest stumbling block for putting this together is really the government.
Yeah.
The government.
What do you guys need? Not to make this like
I
like
would say
really like,
right
because people are
now-
listening. Whoever's, if this is the full version of the podcast,
Right.
not the clip.
Right.
If someone's still listening, it's around an hour and a half in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're really like, oh my God. So now whoever's hearing this, if
Yeah.
it's a need you guys have,
What we're
I
needing
think people
right
will reach
now, more than anything else, is those advisors.
yes.
Those 10 people that you talked about.
Which we
Okay.
have some.
We have some, but we definitely need help with
Marketing,
legal,
even marketing, social media,
yeah,
Right.
social media,
Right.
marketing, legal,
legal,
PR.
PR. I mean, unless you don't
Right,
want to
but
maximize
but-
CPA accounting.
yeah.
Right. But at this
operations, like
operations.
somebody that's going to live on the farm and go, I get to run this thing. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
What
They're out
happened?
there.
Am I
Yeah.
in heaven?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's the kind of attitude.
Yeah.
recruiting of,
Yeah.
of interns and volunteers and
Yeah.
event specialists, the whole
yeah.
bit.
Right.
You know,
Events.
but right
we
now,
want to do, by the way, just throwing it out there, like what we talked about, retreats,
Yeah.
artist retreats, art
Yeah.
therapy.
Right.
I mean,
How do we make that
That's
happen
just-
for you?
yeah,
Right.
one of the 100 things that
Right.
has probably come through my mind since we
Yeah.
met, but
Yeah.
you got to start somewhere,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Um,
my thinking
raise
is
awareness.
does it fit, with our overall vision, and then how do we make it happen for you? As an example, you mentioned something like HR, right? Well, HR is very important because I mean that's where you're getting people.
It's
not
the
only-
most important thing,
Yeah,
actually.
Most
So
important.
If you
we're
don't
not-
get the right people, forget
Right.
everything else.
we're not,
I'm telling
we're not-
you.
yeah, we're not looking for somebody
the
that
greatest asset.
we're not looking for somebody that I can say, you need to go recruit this person or whatever. We're looking for a person who can handle that as a project. I'm the HR person. I'm going to be
Right.
this would be ideal. I'm just using the HR as an example. I want to be your HR person.
Right.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yes.
Or we're looking for. We're not looking for, what do you want to do with your life? And here's the position we have open. You think you can do it? We're looking more for
The
I
HR
wanna be
Smurf.
I want to be that HR Smurf. Exactly.
You need an HR Smurf
And we need-
that also loves your village, not
Right.
just any HR Smurf.
we need a person who can get us linked in properly with the government, so we're able to
We're
help
compliant.
so many people
Right.
that are dependent upon the government. And by the way, one of our goals is to be self-reliant in 5 years, which means no support outside, able to take care of ourselves.
Earning money. Right.
Well,
Well,
that's
not only
where
that,
and
that's
but
creating
sustainable-
self-sustaining blueprints for others. That's the key.
Right,
If you don't become self-sufficient, whether you're feeding yourself through
Well-
the farm or irrigating your own water.
Sustainability on every
Sustainability.
level.
Well,
You might sell things
right.
to create revenue, but whatever it is, you are
Mhm.
able to live this amazing lifestyle in this village, this community,
Right.
and not have to all the time be fundraising or asking
Right.
for money
Right,
and
it has its
contributions.
own- It has its own way of
It
getting,
has to be that way.
getting
It's
some
like
money
that's
in. Yeah.
if you didn't do that, it wouldn't make sense.
Well, see, right
you're
now,
a
as an
you're trying to get
example-
people to be sustainable in their own
Yeah.
life. So
Exactly.
it's like, hey, and every single person on the farm can go create another farm.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
also they're
So that's
building their
amazing.
own skills.
Right.
We're educating. Everyone's learning together.
Right.
Right.
There's a strong educational component to this.
I am calling on all of the young. I don't want to say young.
That's okay.
It doesn't have to be young, but I'm just imagining
Able.
a lot of misguided youth like I was. That's why I'm saying young. It could be somebody that's 47 like me that's like, oh my God, I need a fresh start.
It's about
But
ability.
a lot of times people my age have, other responsibilities that make it challenging.
Sure.
But a lot of up and coming artists, filmmakers, editors, philanthropists, child therapy majors, anything really. It's a
Right.
village. So even a doctor, a medic, somebody studying to be a physician's assistant, right? I just think the way you're going to build this is people are going to hear your story, which you got to be talking about all the time.
Yeah.
And it's going to connect with people that are ready for this and want this.
Yeah.
And it's going to self-drive because eventually you're going to fill all those roles that are open right now.
Yeah.
What an opportunity, not to oversell it, but it's the only the only downside of this opportunity. It's so early on. It's much higher risk early on that to get to the long run, but it's wide open too. Like if I was just starting out, even if I wasn't planning to be a farmer, I would be like, holy shit, I could do the marketing for this. I can be involved and eventually have a salary somehow, make it self-sustaining,
Right.
whatever. But
And it's
get
not,
volunteers. I feel
we
that
definitely
Yeah, but it's
see the
not-
farm as being something not just about growing carrots. I mean, the farm is about growing ourselves, growing
Yes.
our community at large and being resourceful with what we have and with what
So
right.
paint the picture for the Smurfs, I guess. What are you guys imagining? What does it look like? Honestly, is it like with little roads?
Let's talk about
paved-
like in 5 years.
Yeah,
what
like
we
huts, like Smurf huts. What are we talking?
Yeah, they could be. They could be.
I don't know. I'm curious.
So
We'll
what?
have, or you guys could have a drawing competition and draw out
Just
the
draw out-
vision. Do you have a
Yes.
vision drawn out?
Well, we have a site plan.
we have a site plan.
and yeah, we have a vision. We have a vision statement
Okay.
on our website.
We
But
So give me paint the picture. What does it look like?
well, so again, 5 years
Yeah.
from now,
Yeah.
let's
Let's go 5 years from
yeah,
now.
look. What does that look like?
Yeah.
So 5 years from now, we would have had workshops up and running. We'll have 4 houses that are residencies for people. It's essentially their homes, and we would have started down the path of replicating. So the vision is to create this workshop environment where people can come up and start to learn and start to take advantage of this whole farming at the aspect of it, and the second part of it is the residencies, is building the residencies on that. Now we will have also a lot of people that would be very interested in.
Is there a number? Any numbers you can put out there as like
Eight.
just
8 residents.
8 residents?
Yeah, 8 residents that are. By the way, they don't
Heidi
get their.
thinks it's more.
they-
I think it could be more.
Like,
it depends
number.
upon. We don't know. We don't know how many.
Gotta have a number.
Yeah, I
I
think
need a number.
Well, we'd like to have 2,000 in 20 years, but you got to start with
Gotta start
something
somewhere.
that
You can
there's a
go-
lot of
Maybe
learning
not
here.
on-
It is not going to be 8 in 5 years. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Well,
8
it's-
residents?
Yeah,
I think let's go with the Smurf Village example. 100.
yeah, it's possible.
Why would you not?
We're
have
not.
100?
We're not.
I will help.
constrained.
I will
he's
make
talking
sure
about 8.
residents.
farms.
Homes,
8 farms.
people living there on the. So here's the
8
thing.
people living on the
Yeah,
farm. Residents, right?
right. It's their
Okay.
home,
I say 100, just
and
for record. Later,
This
we'll
is
look up
2
the
acres.
video.
We have 2
Okay.
acres.
You'll expand, though. Can you expand?
Yes, we will.
It's-
we will
it-
attempt to expand or replicate elsewhere.
All
it
right.
will come down to the people that we're able to get to come on board with our plan,
Right.
with our vision. If we have, just to give you an example, if we had 10 people, all of them filthy rich and time meant everything to them, we could have the thing up and running in 2 years. Okay. And then there's like, well, what's really going to come our way, and how can we really take advantage of that
Whatever
realistically?
Whatever
right?
you're ready for.
That's
I'm
the
telling
thing,
you.
right? And another aspect of this is all I really have is today to work with, right? I have what can I do today to move this thing forward? And I'm very much into the trenches, and so is she. But I don't really, the future, you just keep putting it out there. And again, because our approach, workshops, residences, replicate, that could happen and whenever it's going to happen, but we're going to move it along as fast as we can. That's the key.
And stay in a
There's-
place of joy.
Yeah.
Not getting all stressed out.
Right.
Not putting out a false timeline.
Well, have
Right.
fun.
Nor limiting
Right.
the timeline. That's important.
Yes.
Wait,
for
Um,
sure.
Another thing. Let's talk about
You got to do it right.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about.
I just have a feeling it'll grow quicker than you expect.
It
And I'm just
already
putting it
has.
out there so that
It
when
already
5 years
has.
comes, I can say, see, I said, and it probably won't even be 100. It'll be like 108.
Yeah.
It'll
Well,
be your 8 plus my 100.
Let me talk a little bit about economics and
Yeah.
financial stuff very
Yes.
quickly. Okay. Right now, the state of California pays $124,000 on an average that they allocate out into the system for every single disabled person in California. Now you say $124,000, that's a lot of money. It's a hell of a lot of money. And where's it all going? I don't know yet, but I'll be able to
Services.
tell you maybe in the next podcast.
People
My-
are
Well,
doing this
we,
for
I,
money.
I used to
So-
audit the government, so I know it's not being spent properly.
It's just
Yeah, it's in the system. There's people that have created jobs
Oh,
over the
it's-
They're
years. So
profiting from it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
of
yeah.
course.
I'm sure it's
And
not going to be
vendors
pretty
and-
at
yeah.
all. But the fact of it is that if we can take
don't
that,
see it,
if
I'll
we
tell
can
you.
take that number, if we can take that number and either severely reduce it, basically saying we don't need your 124K. How about 20K? How about nothing? We're working to zero here. We want to go to zero. We want this to be a sustainable, long-term, take care of itself, including bringing in money to do activities and different things that you need money for. But my point is that from a capitalist perspective, and capitalism is about privateers.
Mhm.
I'm not talking about the money motive or any other shit. I'm talking about we have the opportunity in this country because we are at our culture at the root are privateers. That means private people can come in
right,
and be part of this and invest in this, be
Right.
part of this and make it happen.
right.
And that's the innovation. That's the big innovation because there's plenty of places like this. And in fact, we visited many of them in the country that have these programs. Okay. But they can only go so far because they're kind of locked into this government client relationship
Right.
thing. And that's how they draw their funding. This whole concept of self-reliance is just like it. Matter of fact, I brought this up when I was in Pennsylvania at this place that we were visiting. The person looks at me, I go, is there any precedent anywhere on the planet that shows that something like this could ever be self-reliant? And he goes, and he didn't even say anything other than, and where would that be? Which basically means it doesn't exist. So innovation with the privateer involved, private people getting engaged. I'm cutting the government out of this. I'm talking about private people getting involved in this. We can innovate and we can make this work.
100%. I've just been exploding in my head with like ideas. First of all, as I've experienced over the last few years of talking to investors and raising money for like other companies and then now my own, I have run into people that this is a true story that are like, I mean, it's, if you have a $50 million idea, it's much easier. And it's true because a lot of investors, they don't even look at small stuff.
Yes.
Okay,
Impact
that's number
investing
one.
is-
Number one, I guess my point is there's a lot of money out there.
There
And
is.
of course, if you position yourself to be a government-funded organization, like a lot of these, group homes and foster family agencies, they're just
Totally.
You know, and
linked in.
they're trying to like not spend the money on the kids because they have a little bit, and they're trying to,
yeah.
you know, it's not. So the innovation could also be not just saying, hey, give me $20 million or $10 million. How do we, first of all, there's a philanthropic angle here that's
Sure.
amazing, that comes with ridiculously amazing content, because it's going to be this genuine story
Yes.
that all these artists are behind,
Yeah.
and all these community activists are behind, because it's just so genuine. And I already know that. It's like, as a film producer, if I can dare to call myself that, like, you got to know that it's all about the story, and it has to be a genuine story nowadays for it to work. I mean, to be a long-term hit.
Absolutely.
And I think people are going to connect with it. So I'm saying, I think if you're ready to make a bigger play, it'll happen. You just got to position yourself that way. I think, like, we'll talk to Jason, I think, and see what he thinks. But there's a way to get people to put money in, I think, where we can create some kind of event. We can create NFTs out in Constellation Farms, Jason, with the star. You were saying that, like, you have never seen star formations like that clearly ever. Let's make NFTs. Let's do something with part of that money will go to building it, and part of it will go toward branding and marketing and art creation around it, because it's such a beautiful thing. And then you're creating art with special needs and homeless people that some have found farming, some have found sustainability, some have found building structures, and some have found painting. And we just create, maybe it's an art and working farm, which it is, but you're literally creating amazing art and NFTs connecting to very high level thinkers that are not thinking, like, it's not a judgment thing. It's just, there are people like Drake that are thinking beyond us, like Kevin Hart. That's why they're so successful. They have an amazing team around them, guaranteed. I don't know them personally, but like, from what I've seen, and I just see the patterns. You can't do it on your own, but they're also thinking high level. They're not just saying, oh, I'm going to do a comedy show. They're thinking, how do I create my own, company that sells the tickets? How do I create content from my show that I can then monetize? How do I get, how do I own the merch side? What about the marketing? Like, Kevin Hart didn't get famous probably by accident either. He probably had really good people out there marketing him, booking him, doing the right types of shows, meeting the right people, whatever. So I think this is an idea. And I know this is not, you guys, because you're connecting with all these people, are opening up unlimited avenues for yourselves that you wouldn't pursue. You wouldn't go pitch this as like, hey, give me $10 million. But other people that are hearing it, like me, because I've seen people putting money into projects like this, I think why not? Why not this? Why something else?
Right.
If I had 10 million, like if I was one of those investors that is like looking to park their money, meaning they don't want it to sit in the bank. And a lot of them want to do fun shit.
Sure.
This
They're
is
like,
fun shit.
like, yes, this is
gonna
fun
be a lot
shit.
of fun.
You need to do fun shit.
That's what I'm saying. This isn't, and
Fun
I love
shit's
that it's
important.
not, I mean, it's just open to everyone. Like, I don't know. And,
Yeah.
obviously for me, there's reasons, but this is something that all of my community would get behind. That's why I've been like excited telling them without even knowing what it's going to be.
Well, and I also think that that's why it is important that we generate some classes and this sort of stuff, the things that we've learned, and pass those on, because then you could have your own community here. You could have your own community. Every city, every town could have a Constellation Farms, their own expression of that
Right.
at
Maybe
the
one
community level.
right in an urban setting.
And-
Right.
That's
and
why
it's
farm doesn't have
Yeah.
to be a literal farm.
Right.
It doesn't have to mean that we're growing carrots, although it sure helps to be sustainable when you're growing your own food.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's this company
It's a
down in
huge
San
part
Diego
of sustainability.
that all they do, it's a disability community, and all they do is just put stuff in the boxes for Amazon. That's all they do.
Right.
And they get a little, it's actually a donation thing as far as Amazon is concerned. but they're actually doing work for these guys versus a obviously highly automated system they have.
Right.
Where here you have this highly manual system on the side and they're deriving benefit from it in a very tech savvy spot down there. So
Right.
it could happen anywhere. You could put this in the middle of LA. And a matter of fact, there are some places in LA that have some similar approaches, some similar ideas. But again, we're trying to really make this something that is innovative.
Right.
We're definitely.
So you guys are open to being technology forward too, and doing
sure.
like social media. It's got to be social media place.
So
And a lot of the residents, I think all the residents should have a page. So they've got personal relationships. People actually see, oh wow, it's much more value. It's, when you hear of organizations as an experienced human,
Right.
you start to always be somewhat cynical,
Right.
like nonprofits. So actually, Ben had a genius idea about foster kids. When we were doing our podcast, he's like, they should all have social media so we can see what they're doing. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's actually a great idea. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be public.
Yeah.
It could be private with their
Mhm.
social worker.
Sure.
Yeah.
So they can be like, hey, you look sad today. You
Yeah.
okay? Is everything okay?
Yeah.
But for Constellation Farms, having like marketing, social media,
Well,
a show, a
Absolutely.
reality show.
Yeah. So
You know what I mean? Like, why not? If you guys are open to that, those are
Yeah.
all like, also it provides jobs because people that come on the farm, hey, you want to help us manage our social media page?
Yeah.
We need it. That's,
Oh
as
yeah.
Josh will tell you,
Yeah.
it's a full-time job,
Oh, I
obviously.
know.
Yeah.
Tell me
You
about
You guys
it.
will need like 3 or 4 people,
Tech.
Oh, yeah.
10 people maybe eventually.
Well,
Social media. Hey, we have a reality show we do, but we try to save money on production. So if you want to learn to be a camera person, we don't have to keep paying the production crew for their camera person.
exactly.
Great.
To a certain
And
point.
and obviously you wouldn't hire
Yeah.
a team that wasn't supportive of your mission.
Yeah.
So they would be like, absolutely, you guys want to do the camera? Great, we're going
Yeah.
to teach you. I
So
mean,
tech-
I
so
see this being
technology.
like limitless, really, because of the village
about,
concept.
about technology.
Yeah.
Okay. So technology at the root.
Speaking of technology, bring the mic a little close. I just want to make sure
The root.
capturing
The
everything.
root
Yeah.
of technology
Yeah.
is supposed to be
Yeah,
to make your life easier,
right.
whatever it is. So you may have a million apps to look at at Apple, but maybe only 5 of them actually serve your purpose. But maybe the other whatever serve other people's purpose. So there's all these choices out there that could make tech. In fact, mostly makes your life better. That's one aspect. So we want to use any of that tech that's going to make their lives better, socializing, this sort of stuff. But something I'm very intrigued about is the social robot. The social robot. So there's a robotic lab at USC that they specialize in research on social robots. So why not connect to a company that actually produces social robots and give them a place to test the robots? It's called
Holy
Constellation
shit.
Farms. And I was talking about how people are not how they're alone and isolated. Well, I'll tell you, a lot of times when I'm talking to Mary, my daughter, it's kind of like it sounds like nonsense to me. Okay. And I'm sure I sound like nonsense to her. Okay. Well, why not get a doggone AI social robot talking with Mary? Maybe
Right.
she'll like that better. I don't know.
She
But I
likes
do know
talking
that
to our
the-
Alexa.
I do know the social. I
Dude,
do know
Ben
the social
love-
robot has a lot
He
of
would
promise
love
for
that.
us. Both MIT and USC have
So
labs. And
this is
people that
something
I'm-
they're working on. What's their specific objective for
They're-
people that are lonely? For
Well, it's
Right?
right now their objective is more about elderly people.
aha,
Okay, it's
I
like
love
sending
that.
them into one of these homes
right.
and giving.
Right. Those are sometimes very dark
getting some
places.
engagement, this sort of stuff.
Yeah,
So that's very intriguing to me. And there's 2 professors specifically at MIT and at USC that I'm reaching out to get these things on Constellation Farms via the for-profit companies that are now generating and
right.
social
Oh my
social
God.
robots and getting them out there
And what better programming to get if they're observing humans
Oh,
also than our kids
absolutely.
in terms of being patient and becoming a good social robot. They're
Yeah.
also learning from the humans. They should be,
Yeah.
because they're probably constantly picking up cues, social cues, whatever it is.
Maybe artificial intelligence is exactly what people with disabilities need. They need somebody who's artificially intelligent.
Right.
Because all the
because
other
the
people
humans are
kind
so
of
terrible.
there's a whole gambit
You
of
need
what
to
we call
reprogram.
intelligence, right?
Right.
But here's
It's just
this,
a
We
better
come with
programmed human.
We come with so
let's
many
get artificial.
Let's get
subjective
artificial.
judgments
Yeah.
that we often don't see what's right in front of us.
Right.
Which is this
So I think
loving,
it'd be a great
beautiful-
place.
This just went Black
being-
Mirror on it. This is went Black Mirror, like social robots. But
Teamed up with the
it's
disabled.
happening.
It
It's
is
happening.
Yeah, they're
So-
out. They're there now. It's
Yeah.
just to have them trained to talk with people of
That is
different.
genius. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, when you can,
This is
when you
the
when you connect
automation
that-
engineer coming
yeah,
out.
when
Right.
you connect
That's
that,
his
when you connect
background.
that with a just an exponential increase in the study of actual human behavior, which people like say, well, everyone's different. Well,
Right.
guess what? We're kind of all the same, I think, and we have all these behaviors.
We
you know,
think
from
we're more
love
different than we are.
from love to hate to want all the money in the world. I don't want anything. I want to be a bum. Wherever you're at on that. On
Right.
that.
Just tune it to
Yeah.
the right settings.
Yeah. So you get this
Trump?
you know-
Or Biden. Neither.
yeah. Exactly.
Tune that
Exactly.
to neither.
So there's a lot of promise in that area, and I think it's going to be worth pursuing.
I have a request.
Yes.
I need a potty break.
I will be honest with you. I need one too.
And Mary's already.
I've been taking mine.
No, you're not.
Well, we'll keep talking to Ken.
No, I was over there in the restaurant
Yeah.
twice already.
Yeah. We'll keep talking to Ken while you go. Can you squeeze through? We'll keep rolling.
But all these things that people are doing, you know, innovating, inventing, I believe is making the world a better place, and we need to get those integrated into our lifestyles, because
Right.
you know,
Look, innovation's happening whether you like it or not.
Oh, yeah.
You might as well take the bull by the horns and innovate towards something that's good, that's creating good community
Yeah.
for you. Like,
yes,
honestly, I'm also doing things selfishly in that I have a much better life when people around me are happy.
yeah,
So that it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to have this like some kind of calling necessarily. It could just be like,
Yeah.
hey, do it for you. Like, isn't it better when people are getting along and you're treating people nice and they're treating you nice back
Yeah.
and you're patient and,
yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
do,
and that
do
happens.
innovation that helps
Yeah.
humanity so we can offset some of the negatives that come with innovation.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
separating ourselves, right?
yeah. But at the same time,
We have to offset the negatives.
you do have to offset, but you're offsetting them, I think, on a moment by moment, daily basis.
True.
Yeah, you could talk about tomorrow, you could talk about yesterday, but you were talking a little earlier about talking with somebody, a lot of talk in that.
Yeah.
But the key is your real time, you're right now.
Yeah.
You're not like, well, you know, I'll put it off for the future,
Right.
you know, or let's talk about the past. It's like, let's get right here and talk about what I can do today at this moment. And
Right.
that's kind of the way, you know, unattachment is a huge thing for me, right? When you can unattach from yesterday and you can unattach from tomorrow, your mind, get your mind out of that
Right.
and get right here. You know, where I end up is talking about Constellation Farms, because that's where I'm at. What did I do today to move Constellation Farms
Absolutely.
along? And I feel good about that. So at the end of the day, it's like I did something,
Right.
you know, to move this along.
Do one thing, take one step each
Yeah.
day. Something. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what I
you
try
know,
to do.
Your life's like a big ocean, right? And
Right.
every day is just a drop.
Right.
You know, so this whole thing that's just happening, and, you know, you're just taking one drop there and doing
Right.
something with it, and you'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Stay patient.
You know, you just
Keep
get
adding.
I used to be like, until I was 38, I used to get into this whole thing about, you know, I gotta work. I'm going to starve. And I woke up one day and said, wait a minute, I'm not starving. I have this. Is money really ever going to be a big issue? No, it's not. I didn't feel it was going to be. And I just felt myself so caught up in, you know, what I'd done in the past, you know, all the bad things I've done in the
Right.
past. Oh, you're such a bad boy.
I should have. Right.
Yeah,
the should
yeah.
haves, man.
Yeah.
Gotta
Wild
get rid of the
Kenny.
should
They
haves.
called me Wild Kenny when I was a kid. It's
Interesting. Tell us about
like,
that.
but then,
Give us a story.
oh, well, I was
While your wife's gone.
I was the instigator. I was always, you know, for instance, I went out one time. I went to a summer camp, and I came back and the sheriff was blaming me for stealing something. I wasn't even around, But what he was,
he's like, "You're good, Kenny."
Yeah,
I don't know how you got out of that, dude.
Yeah, it's like, how did you get there and get back? But what I found out is really what he was getting me for was instigating. I had told some kid about doing something, and he went out and did it. It's like, well, it's my fault. It's like, okay. So anyway, but eventually it just comes down to letting all this, I guess, wildness go and just stay right here. And
how did you do that? How did you do that, and why? How did you get to the point where you changed your mindset?
I've always been interested in this whole idea of again, human behaviors. And there's pages, one single line pages, like people hate, people love, people, like to be told that they're good, and they don't like to be told that they're bad. It's all these human behaviors that all of us share. And it just became intriguing to me that some of these behaviors actually have to do with trying to find something, like trying to find the infinite. You could be an atheist, you can be a diehard Catholic, you can be anything in between, but it doesn't take away the human commonness between us to looking for something like, who is your creator, or whatever those questions are, and so once you start to find out that it's all right now, right today, you start to just kind of settle in and acquiesce to the moment, like
that's
okay.
That's so much being mindful. It all comes back to that,
the
like
mindfulness,
being mindful, even if you're not always now, but be aware of that and go, oh wow, I'm really getting down on myself for what happened yesterday or whatever. And bring yourself back. It doesn't have to be perfect. But that was a big discovery for me too, and I'm not perfect about it. It's also balancing, like, well, I want to learn from my mistakes, so I want to say, okay, what could I have done different? But then you want to quickly let that, once you learn, quickly let that go. Don't hold on to the big boulder. Like, just once I learn, what's the point? Like, what is it doing to serve me? Nothing.
You can be a good person. You are.
So just change, and then if you do it, you don't do it the way you wanted to again, learn from that. Like, there's only learning, right? But it's hard to always, to get there. It's a practice.
That's the things that I'm talking about when I talk about attachment. You just get that they just almost stop you in your tracks. Your whole life experience. What else do we have but our experience? But you've got that whole thing going on of, however long you've lived, that's weighing down on this moment. It's like, how do I let go of what's happened in the past? Or how do I stop thinking about the future? None of those things exist anymore. And that's how it's like, I'm here now. What do I want to do today? And I just, at some point, I said, all I have. Be happy today, right?
It's also the being in the zone. Being in the zone is all about being here now and not worrying about what's going to happen if you mess up.
Unattached.
That's where greatness happens. That's where the best art happens. That's where the best conversations happen. If you're thinking about before or tomorrow, you're completely distracted. So it's a distraction. Like I said, sometimes you want to plan ahead. So you go, okay, let me enjoy the planning I'm about to do and still be present in the planning of the future. And what do I want, and envision that, but you're still enjoying it. Not, oh my God, what's going to happen tomorrow? That's not really that's being caught up in the fear of the tomorrow,
Yeah. And I'd have to say that I can't really think, looking back, that anything has really happened in my life that I kind of expected to happen. It's just
never
the series of things that I have zero control over. This is happening around me, and I'm all of that stuff. So at some point, it's like, gotta let go of the things I can't control.
But you have to have direction. So you just give yourself direction, and then don't expect shit.
Well, again,
have requirements for things. And
during today or a day, you may say, I'm going to plan. Today's going to be a planning day, and I'm going to enjoy planning, mapping out what I want to happen, and see what happens.
There was a book I read. I'm going to get the name wrong, but maybe not. It's Wherever I Go, There I Am. Something like that. Right? Is that what it's called? Something like that. Basically, like, be in the now. But the concept changed me a lot, because I read a few meditation books, but I just would always lose the habit. Like, I'll get up later, or whatever it was. I'm still trying, but the book was about, you can meditate anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. And he was basically saying it's not really even meditation. It's being in the now. It's just being in the zone of what's happening now and
Yeah. Right.
embracing it fully. Like, wow, the wood. Wow, I have a coffee. Wow, I'm not in pain. Like, if I'm not in the now, I'm not appreciating those things. And it was like, hey, when you're washing the dishes, just meditate, meaning be with the dishes, enjoy it, sing to the dishes,
Right.
like enjoy the
You have to do
circular
those
process
dishes.
of the washing. And when I was reading, I'm like, huh? And I just started trying to practice it. And it really did change me. It took a while, but it made me stop hating traffic,
Yeah.
the DMV, pretty much everything. Cause I would like remind myself like, all right, how do I get in the now? What's here for me to enjoy and absorb and learn
Yeah.
from or like appreciate or whatever it is.
God
Yeah.
is here. God
Yeah.
is now.
It's always happening.
I think that if they taught meditation in like grade school, it would be very positive.
Yeah.
Because again, this is another one of those things that aren't necessarily accessible by people because they don't even know what it means.
Right. I didn't know what it meant. What does that mean?
Yeah, what is meditation?
I really didn't understand meditation.
Sounds
I didn't
weird.
understand mindfulness. What does
Yeah.
that mean? Like be full of my mind?
Yeah.
Like think of the thinking?
Yeah.
I'm not because
Yeah.
I never stopped because I was like,
yeah.
self-help bullshit. Really,
Yeah.
growing
Well,
up.
exactly. No,
I
it's-
really was because that was what
well,
I was taught.
Well, I can tell you too.
Like-
you're in the situation of, hey, I want to meditate, and everyone's around you. It's
Right.
like, oh, you're a non-conforming bastard.
Are you a vegan?
Yeah, or you're some non-conforming bastard. You know, I fear the unknown.
Right.
And it is unknown, and it's just another thing that someone is either taught or not taught.
Yes.
And anyone that's having any issues in their lives that are pretty well conscious, they need to try it out if they want. If that's all
And
you
you're
gotta do.
limiting yourself. Like what if, for example, like I learned this too, like you can still go back to your old way.
Yeah.
Why not go, like for example, I'm not a
Right
vegan,
on.
but I did start eating a lot more veggies and less meat because I started, well, let me think about this, right? Let me look. So you're limiting benefiting yourself because you just want to really it's putting your fingers in your ears
Yeah.
and going la 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 la. That's what it is. You can't,
Yeah.
and you can't get through if someone does that.
Yeah.
But you're limiting yourself. Fine if you don't want to listen, but
Yeah.
what if something makes sense? What if
Yeah.
one out of two things make sense?
Yeah.
Like you're just not even available to learn.
Yeah.
If
I mean,
you're-
I would hope that the people that are listening to this do understand that, that their lives, they're doing fine. Everything's good. They'll be okay. Everything's, just stay
Yeah,
rooted
man.
in today and you'll be all right.
Oh my God, Kenny,
You know?
can I tell you real quick to second that? One of my epiphanies down this last 10 years, really. Like, and I talk about this a lot because for everyone it's different. It was for me like getting married, having kids, and then getting divorced that
Sure.
really awakened me because it wasn't working, and
Not sustainable.
yeah. One of the things that was an epiphany for me was, I lost my. Tell me again what you just totally lost my
Everything's
train of
good.
thought.
You're fine.
Yes, thank you.
You're okay.
Like right now, it's fine. It's
You're
fine that I
okay.
forgot.
Exactly.
I remember having this epiphany going, first of all, look, it's not about not taking responsibility and learning and growing. That's a separate that's a separate idea.
Yeah.
When you get in the now to go, hey, what do I want also? And then do that without judging yourself.
Yeah.
But I realized something that really helped me let go of like hating myself and constantly going, I should have done this in high school. And if my dad had let me go to the school,
Oh,
which
yeah.
I had that, like I was
Yeah.
limited by others
Yeah.
and I was still thinking about those things. And I had this like epiphany that this is all luck. So it's whatever you have and don't have right now, whatever you are and aren't right now, it's exactly as it should be.
Yeah, I believe
100%. Because
that. I believe that.
what determines your journey? It's your genetics and the environment you're flung into.
Classic.
Neither one of which you have any fucking control over.
Very
No one, I don't remember anyone asking me like, so like what IQ do you want? What kind of a family?
Right.
I could have been born with a very low IQ and an extremely impoverished situation. And that would have been my game. And is that something should I hate myself if that happened? No, it's okay.
It is okay.
It's totally okay.
Yeah.
It's not your fault. So that was like a really big moment for me to go, because I think, like you said, until you're okay with yourself and go, you know what, it's okay. I'm okay. I'm good enough. Whatever that is for you, you can't move forward because you're constantly beating yourself up.
Yeah.
Every step, fuck.
Yeah.
Somebody screwed you over. I'm never gonna, like constantly just getting in your own way. And that was a big moment where I'm like, you know what? And it's not like after that I was like, yes, I'm 100% confident, but it was like something I could come back to and go, all right, it's all right. I'm not the shape I want to be. It's okay. Stop. Like, doesn't mean I'm not gonna take responsibility and go, okay, let me do my 30-day challenge that I'm in the middle of, right? Let me do stuff to improve. And I stopped getting down on myself. Honestly, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
I would constantly start things and it wouldn't work out. And I go,
What you're describing is self-love.
Yeah.
Self-care.
Yeah. Accepting what is.
And loving
right now.
And caring for ourselves right now.
Right now, Kenny.
As
whoever's listening.
Yeah.
Because 90% are afflicted with this at some point throughout the day.
Sure.
Throughout the day. It's people go, well, you're confident, Rick. No, I'm not. Everyone that's around me daily knows I'm not, because I tell them. And they see it like, okay, Rick, that's not what I meant. I'm constantly aware of that.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop me. I just know from experience to go, shut up. Don't listen. You're good. Just go.
Yeah.
And it's been working out. So that's it.
Yeah.
You just master it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be 100% either.
Yeah.
Just realize, if you can realize it's the truth somehow, which some people listening to this won't believe it. They'll say, yeah, but that's because they are XYZ and I'm ABC.
Right.
So
right.
It's kind of a universal principle from what I've seen.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful that if you don't accept this, you're kind of doomed to your destiny that's going to be negative because you're creating it.
Yeah.
If you don't think you're worthwhile, you're not going to feed yourself properly. You're not going to get up you're not going to eat right. You're going to do things to hurt yourself, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not going to have that internal power that will allow you to make those critical changes.
Right.
Yeah.
And finding your passion is part of that, because it's easy. It's not that easy to go, yes, I'm worthwhile. Okay. But you can't fool yourself if you're not doing shit.
Yeah.
And humans, I think, are also programmed to want to be helpful. They primates want to be helpful. They're picking shit out of each other's hair. They're foraging. They're taking care of each other's young. They're helping and they feel good.
Yeah.
And if you haven't discovered anything you're good at and everyone's telling you you're an idiot, you're not good in school, you're not going to be shit.
Right. Or I like
You're
to use
fucked.
the word too, TOO. You're too this. You're too big. You're too tall.
And
you're
really,
too old, you don't have enough fingers. You're missing a left leg. I mean, this goes on and on and on.
Right. You're stupid. You're dumb. You're ugly. You're fat.
Or you're
skinny,
super intelligent. You're a genius.
That's right. What's wrong with you? Why can't you
god,
perform to that? Right.
Or you actually, either side you believe in, and it's really, what's your own thoughts?
Right.
You control your thoughts, you control your life.
Yes.
And that is very, very difficult to do.
Very difficult.
Because the mind is just like a monkey in there. It's just
constantly thinking. And the more you say, don't think about it, the more you think about it. If someone says, don't think of your neighbor's grandma naked, that's what you're thinking about.
Yep. Paradox.
I was going to say someone's grandma, but I didn't. But now I did. So now they're thinking about that.
Yep.
Oh, no. God damn it, Rick. Why'd you make me think of that?
And it's like, whoa, hold it.
You have to be able to go, okay, it's okay that I'm thinking about that. Now let it go.
It is okay. Yeah.
I don't want that in my head anymore.
And let it out.
And you're with yourself and you can't shut yourself up.
Yeah.
You can shut other people out, but you're still laying there when you're awake thinking whatever the hell you're thinking.
Yeah.
So to change that requires real change. That's what I'm saying. Giving people an opportunity to go, oh my God, I did that. I painted that. Even Jason's art therapy, a lot of time, which I didn't understand at first, but then when I talked to him, oh my God, that's so true. He's like, I can't even get people to make a fucking mark. They're so scared.
Oh yeah.
What do I do? Do you anything? He goes, I just go, look. And he goes, I'll dip it and just let it drip and then go like that. And they go, so drip it. I go, anything you want. I'm just saying, splash it,
Yeah.
throw the bucket on it,
Yeah.
make a mark. Well, I don't know. And it's kind of like probably a reflection of their life. Like, I'm not good enough. I'm not going to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Even though someone's saying it doesn't matter, just take a pencil and do a dot.
Right.
Well, but what do you mean? Like a dot or a hard dot or a soft dot?
Yeah.
Like a circle?
Yeah.
Is there an eye?
Yeah.
They can't because
Yeah.
they're so tightly wound that they've probably, I'm just saying my experiences, because I have that probably issue too. Like, what should I write? What should I write? Just write.
Yeah.
It's from no blame, but traditional parenting of like, what's wrong with you? What are you, an idiot? You know, what
I'm
are you
gonna change
doing?
you.
Yeah. And you get used to like, oh shit, did I do that right? Did I step on the crack? Did I, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. And with people who have Down syndrome, they're not experiencing all of this.
Right.
They're just here. They're just right here. And it's so tempting to talk about the future and the past and all this, but if you can just be with somebody, disabled or not, you can just be there for one moment and show them that you care. That yes, I actually care, that anything really becomes possible for them.
Yes,
The fears.
I love it.
The fears. It's like, that's something you could trust in.
I'm so glad I met you guys.
We're
This is
thrilled
just the
to have met
beginning.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the next steps? Like, what can we do? I know we kind of talked about it, but maybe just leave us with that, or maybe,
Right.
I don't know. What are you
Well,
guys doing
I
next?
would say
What's on the
If there's
horizon?
anyone out there who wants more information or to follow us, to be a part of this, or simply keep track of what we're doing, I would say follow us on social media.
Constellation Farms.
We're on Instagram as Constellation Farms in Springville, California. We're on Facebook, in Springville. We're on Facebook, Constellation Farms in Springville, California. And our website is cfarms.org.
Farms. One word.
cfarms.org.
Yeah.
.org.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
the number one thing that will make this work is a person being across from another person who is needing some help. It's that relationship that will make this work.
And you
Okay.
connect enough of those together and you
But it's
create
that
a community.
it's that one, it's having people come to Constellation Farms who want to be that person, to be with someone who they believe they can help by just their mere presence.
Right.
That's one aspect of it. On the other whole end of this is, this is a business of sorts, and we do need
a nonprofit.
we do need all the business things that you need. I need a person. I need an economist. So what do economists do? Well, what they do is they evaluate projects for, is it doable? That's kind of the thing. It's like you want to do a $10 million project. Well, where are you going to get the money? And blah 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 blah. So an economist who is able to evaluate projects, because we have lots of projects, that's a person who wants to run with basically project economics, a person who wants to run with bringing the people that we will need. We'll call it traditionally an HR person. We need a person who wants to run with this. We need to understand the rules and the laws around this. We need legal help. We need accounting. An accountant person who says, I want to be the accountant for Constellation Farms and understands, has some
Right.
experience. So real people, we have construction. We have some buildings that we're currently building coming out of engineering. We need construction people. We need tradespeople, craftsmen, this sort of thing. We're looking to build the absolute least expensive structure that you can legally you can live in. And I think this will also have some bearing on homelessness, as an example.
Right.
How much is Los Angeles County building? How much are they spending to build homeless shelters? It's insane how much money they're spending when they could be doing that. There has to be a better way to do
Right.
it. Of course, I could say that about a lot of things that the government's doing, but the government changes its policy. It changes, and it's up to us, to the people who say, these are the changes that we need. That's how the government rolls. We tell them what changes we need, and if it's possible, they'll make those changes. It doesn't come from just throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Right.
So
Exactly. Let's do it better.
People with governments, sure, marketing and fundraising. There's a whole group of these
Right.
Different people. So we need people
And I think,
to run with projects.
yeah, it's all about the people connecting. You need the Smurf Village, and it's about Constellation Farms connecting with like other companies too that
Right.
can see synergies here. Like I gotta look into it, but there's somebody just told me about it. Might be someone here that told me about this person that's working on like sustainable shelter building.
Yeah.
Like really like the lowest cost that's
That'd be
available right
nice
now.
to hook up with
Yeah,
this person.
and I'll hook you guys up.
That'd be good.
Because, and again, like you said, this is just part of it. Like the farm in
Right.
Springville is just part of it.
Right.
This is a
It's
network
bigger
of
deal.
people that want to help people. You just want to. Who wants to help? Who wants to help other people? That's
There's
it.
so many opportunities
Yeah.
here.
Because it's non-religious, I have to say, I think that does
Yeah.
open it up
Yeah.
more for like the corporate sponsorship. Because I don't think it'd be comfortable for them to do something that's like overly religious.
Mhm.
So that could
Right.
open up some things we should
Basi-
talk about.
Basically, if you're a loving, caring person, we're
Yes.
interested in you.
Right.
If you're interested in our mission,
Or want to become a loving, caring person.
or want to become, you're exactly.
We're
you're
open as long
exactly
as
right
you're
there.
open to that.
You're
Yeah.
absolutely
Like, hey,
correct.
show me how to care.
This is huge.
Why should I?
Right.
I'm down with that too. Like, let's
Ask
have a
Ask a
conversation.
fourth grader that question.
Yeah.
They probably have no idea.
Yeah,
They
seriously,
don't know
because
the answer.
the answer is you're going to be happier. If you
Yeah.
can figure out how to do it and sustain yourself,
Yeah.
you will be happier. If you can,
Right, but they're not getting the
No.
training anywhere at that moment.
And I always
they
say-
are from their parents. There's so
jobs
many
are
beautiful
meant.
parents.
All
out
jobs are meant to be helping other humans. Think about
Yeah.
it. Name
yeah.
one job that isn't created to help. It's just people are doing the wrong job and not appreciating it and taking it out on their customers.
Oh yeah. If you don't
You know what I
provide
mean?
something useful,
Yeah.
nobody's really going to be very
Find the
interested.
accountant that loves accounting,
Yeah.
and Constellation Farms.
So we'd love to blow this up, scale it,
yeah.
but you need a foundation to scale from. So
I was going to
that's
ask
what we're doing now.
Yeah.
We're building a foundation that we can scale from.
a board.
A board.
You guys need a board
We
with
do.
people that can guide the ship and have that have resources maybe that can
Yep.
Right.
plug
Yeah.
in and
Right.
meet once a
Experience.
month and
Yes.
yeah, like
Yeah.
That's what we're
advisory.
doing.
And
That's the key is if you can get the ship in the right direction
yes.
and then do the smartest steps you can.
Right.
Like I think a Kickstarter campaign, man. I
Yeah.
really think that's
Relative.
we should
to the-
take this footage honestly and just tell your story.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
We just yes.
I will say, just take a quick page out of Steve Jobs' book that I was talking about earlier. Not to say that this is that at all, but he would interview people and show them the latest technology. And if the reaction wasn't like, oh my God, or I'm so excited to see this, there was never a job offer. So like, I think that's
They would have to be
genius
on
because
board.
yeah, he wanted people that were like, oh my God, I'm going to
They
push
could
this
see
forward.
it. Yeah.
If they're not excited, they're
Yeah.
probably not going to like, even if someone's just like
Even-
a monthly advisor, if they're
Yeah.
excited, they're going to
Yeah.
be talking about it
Yeah.
at the
That's
cocktail
positive.
party, at the
Positive.
family. Like, oh my God, I've been
Yeah.
working with this organization and
Mm-hmm.
they're around. If they're like extremely good, they're probably around good people because
Yeah.
people tend to flock with, people on their level,
No, it's
right?
good.
With their mindset. So
yeah.
every one person comes with their own network. That's what's
Yeah.
crazy. You guys are going to create such a powerful network of philanthropists, I feel.
Yeah.
It could turn into business if you guys want. Yeah.
Yeah, we love to
One
scale
star
it.
at a time.
One star at a time.
That's right. One star. At a
One
time.
star at a time.
Boom. I love that. That should be the thing, like ET. It's a 1, not a
That's one of
5.
our tagline.
Yes,
Constellation
1
Farms.
star at a time. I love that.
Constellation Farms, building creative and sustainable community, 1 star at a time.
Yeah, you come to us as a label and you leave as a person.
Exactly. You come as 1 star, you leave as a constellation.
Ooh,
Yeah.
solid.
That's
Damn.
great. Boom, network.
I like that.
That's beautiful.
Oh, I
Be
like
a
that.
constellation. Don't be a star.
Ooh,
Of course you're a star.
that's community.
Be a constellation.
In
Damn.
the
T-shirt.
constellation.
Damn.
If we keep going, I'm
You're
telling
rolling.
you, I am like a diarrhea of ideas.
Well, that
I
sounds
can
pretty
keep them
shady.
coming. They're not going to be all good,
Yeah.
Kenny. I'm going to warn you.
Well,
It's
that's
a
what
cost
you
benefit
You
after
gotta
a
let
while.
it flow, though, and ferret it out.
Exactly.
You know?
Splash some paint on the walls and
Yeah.
see what it looks like.
There are no wrong things to say. Or
Kenny,
right,
I
just
do
things.
just for. I feel like we could have cut this at many. There's 2 or 3 good, nice, but just in case, I would like we never got into your story.
What
Yeah,
story
like-
would you like me to tell?
I don't know. Who is Kenny?
Kenny.
Where did you come from before? Because we jumped into you
Kenny's,
when Heidi met you.
Yeah, so Kenny's kind of a farmer.
You did
boy
mention the
from
wild
Bakersfield.
Kenny.
Yeah, the wild.
You were the
Kenny.
farmer.
Yeah, so I made it through high school barely, and I joined.
When you say you made it through high school,
Yeah, it's
does
like,
that mean like you survived literally,
Well,
or you
it's
just?
like- well, to give you an example, it was Christmas time in my senior year. And I got called into by the counselor, and he goes, if you miss one more day of school, this is Christmas. If you miss one more day of school, you won't graduate. Well, that's like 5 months from then. Well, what I was doing is I was only going to school on Fridays because Fridays were like fun days.
Right.
And the other 4 days were just shit. I mean, they were like, there was nothing to do.
Listen up,
basically.
kids.
So they gave you, it's like today, in today's terms, where they had all the, the distant learning stuff. They have all these little modules that you fill out online. Well,
Right.
Back then it was on paper, but it's the same concept. If you finish the module, you're done, right? So I finished on Friday. I would work the modules and be done for the whole week. So I just thought there was no reason even to be at school. So I didn't go, for a long time, and eventually it caught up with me. So anyway, let's just say I had a interesting interesting childhood, a lot of adventure, a lot of fun things going on. And anyway, so then I ended up in the military in the reserves, and I ended up in going to school in Arizona, University of Arizona, and I became an engineer, hydrologist, and then I
Wow.
yeah, then I left there and got a job with Getty Oil Company when they were still around, and
Not a bad gig.
eventually I ended up as an automation engineer. Long story short, and after
Wow.
like a long time, I had my own business for 22 years as my own little engineer.
Did you like being an engineer?
I did. I liked building things. I
Okay.
tinkered. I loved when I was a kid tearing shit apart. I
Got
couldn't
it.
put it back together, but
Right.
I had a really good time tearing it apart.
You were on the
So,
demolition side of engineering.
I was on the I love demo. Like some of those shows on television.
Yeah.
It's demo day.
There's an art. Yeah, it's an art
yeah.
form.
Yeah,
Can't
just
break
tear
too
shit
much. You
up.
got to break the right stuff the right
tear it
way.
up. But I did like trying to put it back together. But I could go on and on. But after that,
Oh, definitely. You guys should do a podcast, by the way. I meant to say that earlier, not to interrupt you, but because I don't want to forget.
Yeah.
You should consider doing a Constellation Farms podcast.
We've been thinking.
Did you
about
start
that
already?
Talking
today.
about it.
Yeah.
We haven't started it.
All right.
Yeah, it would
Thought
be a
about
good
it.
one though. Yeah, just
This could be,
dedicated
you
to
could
that.
use this as your, well,
Yeah.
set it up, I
Yeah.
think, and have probably guests.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
well, the
we're gonna
different
be-
people in the community.
Yeah.
And just go on and on and on.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's
Okay,
got a
yeah,
lot of
cool.
options, and we
Yeah.
can use some help with that.
Yeah.
Setting that up, and then
Right.
again, what I like to do is document the whole process. From where we're at now, kind of a blank piece of land, to what it looks like in the future and how we got there, and all the obstacles that
Yes.
are going to be in front of us.
You need a you're gonna need a video Smurf and social media Smurf that falls in love with you guys.
Yeah.
That's like,
Yeah.
look, I'll do whatever you guys need. Just
Yeah.
help me out. I'll help you guys out.
Yeah.
Let me live on the farm. Let me
and
I
that's
need a little stipend, something. But
yeah,
because that's gonna be so critical to your journey is like being
Yeah.
able to tell the story,
you know what
especially
I wanted,
to get people involved and
yeah, but
put
you're
money
bringing up
into
an interesting idea. This idea of compensation. I think initially what we're looking for is people that are essentially doing this like without getting paid,
right.
and then as opportunities present themselves, they would be getting paid.
I think,
But
Well,
I
they
think
would
it's
be
kind of
the
out of
teaching
the
first-
farm,
goodness
you
of
got
Yeah,
yeah,
they'd
it's
be
got to
the
be the
first-
internships. I'm telling you that
Yeah.
the internships.
you got to
make
do
sense.
maybe talk to Ani, maybe she could help you guys because
Yeah.
we've already you could do it too, but you start an account with Handshake that gets you
Yeah.
access to
Yeah.
all these interns
Oh yeah.
across the country.
Oh yeah.
And
It's a good
I think
idea.
if you cast the net and you guys already have your website,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, because you have to qualify.
Yeah.
They don't want random companies trying to get free
Mhm.
interns.
Right.
Oh,
And
yeah,
you could
for
basically
sure.
post jobs and say it's a free internship or it's a paid internship or whatever
Yeah.
it is. And I can only imagine how many hundreds,
Yeah.
if not thousands of applications maybe you're going to get because this wasn't around before. You can literally click through every university. I think
Oh, that's
most every
cool.
university's
Oh, I
on
like
that.
that a lot.
app.
Remember that.
That's going to be your army, especially for these
We've
like,
seen that. We've seen
yeah.
that in another spot. Another
especially
place.
for like the operation stuff that
Oh yeah.
takes a lot of time, like
Yeah.
social media content, setting up you need someone to set up the podcast. You could
Yeah.
do it yourself, but I mean, it's a lot of work for Josh and me too. Like, I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
sit,
It
especially in the
takes-
beginning.
Yeah. It takes time, to develop all that for sure.
Yeah. There you go.
Start it now. I think the number one thing for us right now is to be very specific about what kind of help we need.
Yes.
Very specific.
Very specific.
Not
Yeah.
because we're in that mode now. We know we have a pretty good idea of what it is we need.
Right.
And we've been writing it down and all these things, but it's time. It's really what comes first.
Right.
And if you don't have, if you don't know the rules, your accounting sucks, and you don't really have any idea about fundraising or whatever program you come up with, it's going to be an absolute pain in the ass
Yes.
to generate.
Right.
You've got to have some
Yep.
things out of the gate to get it right. or you're
You
gonna
do.
be toast.
It takes
You know,
a village.
like Steve Jobs, right? When he first
It
started,
takes a village.
it takes a village.
A small one. You need a
Smurf
small.
village.
It's a
Yes.
constellation.
A small 10-person constellation is what you guys need.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Or eight.
Yeah.
Eight
It's a
would be
model.
fine too.
This is the model.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you make your little model airplane.
Yeah.
and then you make your 747.
Right.
You
Start
gotta
with
have
the
the
little
model.
constellation first.
Feel
10,
like it flies.
10 people. That's all you need. Look at that. And then
Yeah.
they're together, all in their own positions, working together, feeding
Yeah.
off of each other.
Yeah, we'll know how to feed it
Yep.
when we know what it exactly
Mhm.
is turning into.
Right.
Because we have very open as being innovative on this. We have a pretty open idea
Right.
here.
But you want to stay like honed in.
We do. We
You-
have
which I like.
We
You
have
guys
like
have
a frame.
right.
That because we visited so many places. We have a pretty nice frame
Right.
to work in. But yeah,
But
It's
the way to
fun.
get there can be
it's substantial. It's a big
it
project.
can be complex. It could go in so many directions. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
We'll figure it out.
it's what we want to do with our lives. So we're good.
Great stuff,
Yeah.
guys.
Project.
This is awesome.
Thank you for having
Yeah.
us.
This has been amazing. Let's see. I can't wait to see next steps, and
Yeah.
I want to see how
Keep
I
you
end up
updated.
getting involved. Yeah, keep me updated. I'd love to stay involved, however
well-
I can.
We'll start talking and thinking about this podcast
Yeah,
idea.
I'm happy to. I mean, Josh is gonna know obviously the technical stuff way more than me,
Yeah.
but anything I can help with, ideas too, like the format of the podcast, right? Where it is, all that stuff.
What would be really nice is to have a rather succinct story to
Yeah.
tell. Pretty tight, pretty brief, and then be able to point out to like a podcast
Yeah.
for more information.
Knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out, Rick. Knock him out the box.